Okay, we're going to start right now. So we're going to do a Quidditch Talks number 3. And we have Flyrish here. Cue the applause, Flyrish. Yes?
I cue the applause. Thank you, Blue.
He has a Twitch, so that's going to be very fun. He's going to be streaming Quidditch when it comes out. Can I confirm this?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. Our next guest returning, Shinobi. Shinobi's returning.
Hello, everybody. Why
I-
is this guy here again?
I had to bring the applause this time. Flyrish helping me with that. Hopefully I can set that up next time. Let's have some fun with the first question, because I really want to know what your guys' take is, and we'll start with you, Flyrish. I kind of have an idea what Shinobi might say, but we're going to go in depth with that. The first question, when it comes to the possible future of esports, what does that look like for you? And if it were to happen, how long would that take? So, what do you think?
So, in regards to Quidditch Champions, what I think about the future of his season, I quite frankly don't have the best outlook of that. I think that has to do with the fact of kind of two things. I think, Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers is going to get in their own way. When you look at how they handled Justice League and kind of the poor reception of that and the hype that didn't really get put into that, and even to a greater extent multiverses, which you could in sense talk about is comparison to like Smash Brothers. They are a little bit different, but Smash Brothers has a huge competitive scene, and so there was. And Multiverses has a lot of franchises in it. I mean, you have Bugs Bunny, you have Shaggy, you have all those. A lot of big name things to go ahead and grab the people's attention that people know and love. And they just quite frankly just kind of released it and let it be. And there's maybe they have plans in the future, but the hype for Multiverses is kind of already gone. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it in the last previous 2 weeks. So now we're coming into Quidditch Champions. Now, it does have an advantage being a Harry Potter franchise, Hogwarts Wizarding World IP. And obviously, Hogwarts Legacy did not really have that much going into it, yet, however, sold very well. Now, from what everyone did see of it, the few things, it was super impressive. So everyone wanted to get their hands on it. But, I don't know if this can do what Hogwarts Legacy did. At the current moment, Warner Brothers is handling it. I think if Warner Brothers kind of switched up their strategy, I do think Hogwarts Legacy, Hogwarts Quidditch Champions could have a chance to have a future in esports. But as of right now, it's not looking too good.
So, if I can understand that correctly, it not looking so good is you don't see a future for it, at least right now?
At the current moment, no, not the way that Warner Brothers is doing it. And I think on top of that, obviously we can't speak too much in depth of the game. It is a sports game for all intents and purposes, and it's got its field and such like that. There's only so much tech and mechanical skill differences that you can do amongst each of the roles, and the matches are very quick. And so how many of those moments will you have in the sense of like a Valorant or an Overwatch or a CSGO, where even though, yes, it's the same maps, CSGO a bit more, kind of on mechanical skill. But when you look at Valorant and Overwatch, where you have different agents, different abilities, and how many ways they can make a certain scenario different each and every time, you never have the kind of same amount of things going on. Sure, there'll be some cracked players that make amazing strats in Hogwarts Quidditch and come up with some crazy plays, but how many of those moments of like, wow, that was amazing, and just can't believe that happened, that Quidditch Champions can offer in comparison to the more successful games within the esports realm?
I can see where you're coming from. There's a lot of mini questions I wanted to ask while you were talking, but I think we can get to that once we get everyone's feedback. So the same question to you, Shinobi. Do you want me to repeat that, or do you?
No, I can.
Okay.
I can answer off of that, but share some of those same opinions. I just my I feel like I'm more optimistic towards it definitely happening. Maybe not in a couple months when the game releases, but I'm hoping to see some type of esports, some type of tournament league start occurring maybe within the year for the game. The only problem is, yeah, like I just don't see anything from WB being pushed out towards the game. Like there's no sign of or even remotely any mentioning of competitiveness for this. Like sure, it's marked as it's labeled as a sports game, but nothing in the description, nothing that I can actually read here tells me that there's anything supporting the esports factor into the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes me question whether their intentions is for that to happen at all.
If
Um,
if I may jump in
yeah,
to
go for it.
that, I think right now the player base, us that know what the game is and really want it, would have to really be the forefront of it for even Warner Bros. To even notice it. Now, obviously, they have not even said what their intentions are, but again, I the way that I look at it with they don't seem to care with multiverses. So how much would they want to put in here? I think the other thing too is that there is a game that was recently just had a playtest called Supervive, and they had a closed beta that the people in the playtest were allowed to stream, but the devs were streaming with them. They were like joining the playtesters' games and going to their streams and gifting subs and bringing in an audience to for people to get the first look into the game and show what it looks like competitively with the playtesters that have been there, really supporting it. On our end, they kind of went on a witch hunt against some of us, just for even saying that this game exists, even though they announced themselves it exists. Just for us even saying, "Hey, Hogwarts Quidditch Champions exists," it's like they went on a witch hunt against us, and so not only so not only is Warner Brothers just officially not doing anything on their side of things, they're not even supporting the players that would even want to do it, as you see some of the more other successful esports titles have done.
Mhm. Yeah, we're probably a little bit under 2 months out from the game releasing,
I
and I
believe we are.
and
Yeah,
there
Crazy.
should be a little
we're
bit more
close.
push. Yeah, I think there should be more push from the devs or from WB in general um,
Yeah.
to promote this game a little bit more at this point. So
Especially just it's kind of had some negative backlash already, right? And it's like they're not doing anything about it. It's like you literally have all of us that could like I mean, even through this video to some sort, we can't say too much, but like we would more than willingly defend this game. Like it was a lot of fun, and we can't talk about why it was so much fun. We can't talk about the things like one of the big backlashes that I saw were like the graphics. Well, if we could tell you about the graphics and why they worked, maybe so many people wouldn't be upset with it. Maybe if they could see it, a little bit of it for themselves in action. I don't know what the big surprise is. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you already know what Quidditch is. Sure, there are some differences to the way that they make the layout to how it is lore accurate. I get that. But it's, you know, I don't know why they're freely taking all this backlash that they're getting that could easily be solved and make people more excited for the game in general, which could help esports by just letting us, have a bit more freedom. Warner brother, helping a brother out, please.
Do you agree, Shinobi?
yeah, I think let the players spread the word about the game. That's probably the biggest marketing that they could use. So
Word of mouth is always number one in marketing strategy. It is.
Okay. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and answer. If you're done with your answer, Shinobi, I'm gonna answer that as well. And I see if the game isn't badly balanced, might disagree with me. Like Multiverses was really great when it came out, And a lot of people are saying, a lot of top like competitive players and even casual players are saying that the game is too slow. It's not competitive, it's casual. And I think if
Mhm.
the game Quidditch is competitive and it's not dumbed down where there is no high skill ceiling, that there you can get as good as you can get if you put time in. It could be very, very fun and very addictive to play, especially with friends. I think there's a lot of backlash, like Flyrish has been saying, but all that might disappear once they start playing it, especially with the PlayStation Plus being free for beginning of launch. So I think people just need to try it. I know there are some people, I don't know if you check out the Reddit, but there are some people that are trying to start leagues for this game already, and it hasn't been released. I'm not going to mention any names, but yeah, that looks really interesting, and the game's not even out. So I imagine when the game comes out, there's going to be a lot of people trying to do that as well. So I see a lot of competition in the beginning, and I think honestly, I see it being very popular in the beginning. So I think the potential for esports really depends on how the second week goes. Because all the popular streamers and even people that never mention Harry Potter in their life are going to be playing that game the first week. And usually the second week and the third week is when the people that are going to be streaming Quidditch, I would say like full time, or that's going to be their main game, you'll really see how it's going to look. So you can kind of get a good educated guess on that. But from the people that I've heard, like I've read in the comments on YouTube that supposedly were in the test, say it's very fun. So going off that, I think that if people just play the game, that it could really erase a lot of doubt. But I think I'm looking positive. Like a lot of what Flyrish says is true, but I think the opposite could be true as well. But you just have to wait.
I think they do need to take a bit of a supervised route, whereas just some of us that have already been in the game and played, just like at the end of August, like, or a week within August, just let us play it. Maybe put keys out, drops out for other people to get in for that 1 week. Stress test it again, because from my understanding, their last playtest has been a while. I don't know for a fact, but from the random leaks of the corners of internet that I'm seeing on the Reddit, it seems like they have supposedly changed certain aspects since the last playtest, and so who even knows how it's gonna like balance out? I mean, there's a lot, but I mean, I don't own Warner Brothers, so.
I even heard a lot of people, even people that were apparently in the playtest, being very confused that the career mode was only 3 players. So that was interesting to hear. But let's go to the second question. What character skins would you like to see added? Let's go with you, Flyrish. I know, Flyrish, you're heavily game-oriented first, but I know you have some knowledge around, Harry Potter world and such. If you could give us a couple names or ideas.
A little bit, I don't know about some characters and some people want. I would like to see Bella Matrix. I think she's pretty cool and would go well. Apologies to the true Harry Potter fans. I love the games. I love the thing, but I'm not like in depth. But obviously, Professor Snape, Draco's father, and then who could forget he who shall not be named himself?
Of course.
I feel like at some point, we should see the man with no nose, getting in.
I don't think it's an if. I think it's just a matter of time. But who am I to say? What about you, Shinobi?
I would love to see more skins, like more customizations around the character. Because at least in the trailer, it looked like you could build your own character. It wasn't just specific, like Harry Potter and Hermione, and like it looked like you could build custom characters. So I'd like to see like what you can add on to that character, just more options in the store or whatever you can game. So that's what I would like to see in general. I think it would. Well, I know it says there's no microtransactions, but I think that could generate more income for the game, honestly, if they go that route. I don't see them not doing it.
I remember we were talking about that last time. I mean, it's $30, and then that's going to be it forever. I think it's a mistake. I think a lot of people would happily put $5 to $10 on the battle pass or something, but I think they can make so much money. But I think as long as they don't overcharge, like $20 for a skin, like certain games, like Overwatch and such.
But do we consider a battle pass a microtransaction? Like, is that technically considered one? Because that's what I would think that they are doing. Is that there won't be a microtransaction store, but there'll be a battle pass that people can put into.
Right. I mean, in games like these, what do you guys think? In games like these, like Overwatch and Rocket League, I mean, I'm sure Call of Duty, I'm not really familiar. I don't play Call of Duty as much. But those games have a store, in-game store, correct?
Yes. Valorant.
And that's not based on in-game credits. That's based on, IRL, real cash. So I think that they will change their mind towards launch. I would be very surprised, and I'd be the first person to say, you know what, you were right. It didn't happen, but I think that it's going to happen, that microtransactions will come back. It's just a big, big missed opportunity, I think, if they don't. Yeah.
But you think about Overwatch. Now, Overwatch 2 became free to play, and then they added in a whole bunch of microtransactions. But, back in the loot box days, Overwatch was a $60 game. Overwatch 1 was, and you got a lot of free skins out of it. And they rode that for a while. And in fact, I think a lot of people felt that was better, So maybe they're seeing some of what Overwatch 2 did wrong moving over to free-to-play and adding everything into a store, and then it's doing what they did right. It's possible.
I don't know what your thoughts are if you've ever played this game called Knockout City. It took, I don't know, for me, my experience, they took way too long to add in new content. So I'm just worried if they keep bringing in consistent content, I think they could be fine. But if they take forever, it could be a Knockout City thing where all right, Flyrish Shinobi, here's the battle pass. I'll see you guys in 4 months. And then that's it. I hope that doesn't happen, because that as fun as Harry Potter is, that could really hurt the game. But I'm assuming they've done their homework. So.
Well, and two, I think Quidditch Champions is going to have a rougher time than what you're talking about with Knockout City. See, I think what the problem kind of with Knockout City was all the additive content that they could put in was new weapon dodgeballs, if you will. Whereas in Quidditch Champions, you're not going to be able to add in stuff like that into the meta. I don't think you can. Maybe they do, but there's not going to be a lot of meta changes, where you could with Knockout City. But, Knockout City didn't have a campaign mode, whereas Quidditch Champions should. So at least they have some sort of extra content going in up front.
That is true. I'm very curious how long that'll be, too, when you play that. Because I would assume they would do kind of a cycle of seasons to continue that. But it seems like they're going to go full ahead on the whole thing day one. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. I want to see Headless Nick. I want to see him make it. That'll be a disgusting and fun one. Having the head flop around, and I would like that. And then
the head as the quaffle.
Quaffle skin for Halloween.
Yeah, there we go.
That could be one. That's my number one I wanted to mention. And did you have any in mind, Shinobi?
Dude, I want the mythic Voldemort skin to come out, dude.
Mythic Voldemort.
I need the dark black smoke for the broom or something. Just everything more scary looking instead of all the colorful stuff that we saw.
That would be really good. I'm excited about the voice lines. So people are gonna come back and do the voice lines, or are it gonna be AI? That'll be fun to look forward to that. I can already see Flyrish is like, I don't want AI. I need authentic voice lines.
I don't think Warner Brothers would go AI route. I don't know. That's already a touchy subject as it is.
Yes. AI does not fare well from what I've seen so far. I'm pretty sure Shinobi can talk on this. When you being a Naruto player and you're like Naruto Boruto Connections was using a lot of AI, and that really hurt story mode because there'd be moments of emotional scenes and it would just be a flat tone Sasuke instead of being like yelling or I need help, or it was just monotone. And actually what was sad is the older games on the PS3 voice lines were better, unfortunately. So that the AI is a very tricky route to go. Let's go with the next question. There are lots of people who are disappointed that Quidditch was not in Hogwarts Legacy. Do you think that'll negatively impact Quidditch Champions in any way? What do you think, Flyrish?
That's kind of weird, because you're already on a touchy subject with the Harry Potter universe in general, for reasons I won't go into. But you already had a lot of people protesting Hogwarts Legacy as a game, and so there are those type of people that were already on the edge that got it and were like, well, we didn't get our Quidditch in it either.
Right.
And I do think it's a shame that Quidditch was not in Hogwarts Legacy for what it was to some capacity. But they did mention very on before Legacy came out that there was not going to be Quidditch in it and that they had plans for Quidditch. Now, they didn't say in a form of another game. A lot of people started assuming DLC, but they put the warning out there beforehand. And so should it negatively affect it? I don't think it should. Will it? Again, I think just from the there's a whole lot of slander on the graphics that I'm seeing from the YouTube videos. And a lot of them are saying, like, we would have rather this in Hogwarts Legacy because of they wanted it to look in Hogwarts Legacy graphics. And I get it. Hogwarts Legacy is beautiful. And so I think that's where the negative impact might come from, the fact that it's not in Hogwarts Legacy. But I don't think it's a problem.
Okay. What do you think, Shinobi?
It's gonna be mixed, I think. Like people are already talking about it, how they're upset that it's not included in there, and I think once they see the game, opinions will change. It's just one of those things. I feel like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. Like it'll click, basically, once the game is released. I feel that the reason why they didn't include that in there, it just makes no sense when you think about Hogwarts Legacy. The way that you flew in that game, it felt like it was only for one purpose, was to get from A to B. When you rode the broom, I'm pretty sure you guys both played it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I don't see that being manipulated to be into like more of a competitive sports game. I just don't see it. At least for me, like, yeah, once you start riding, you get used to it, but it just, the controls didn't feel like it was meant for Quidditch at all.
I can agree with that. It's just so slow compared to how fast I think you have to move.
That too. It was just more of a let's ride in the sky and let's take in the views type of flying. You know, it was more for visual enjoyment. Yeah. So, I think people will understand that once this game releases, then they'll get to see why it had to be a separate thing.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Shinobi. I think a lot of people are gonna forget all this negativity once they actually try the game, because I think to put Quidditch in Legacy would have been too much. You could have done quick time events and tell like a kind of a side story, a side quest, but I think it really should have its own game, especially when you look at the GameCube game and the potential if every player was an individual online player. It's just too great to be a side quest. So I think once they try it, then they'll understand that, yeah, that was the right move. But right now, it looks like the wrong move, especially for people that were not in the playtest. So I'm assuming if you ask somebody in the playtest, they would tell you otherwise. But with NDA, I think we have to just wait for the release. So let's go to the next one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I will say that I do agree with the fact that it is nice that they are doing something that is fully dedicated to Quidditch, that they will continually update, assumingly they'll continually update, and not just say, all right, this is just one feature in the game. Here you go for your enjoyment. So now we can have to boot up Hogwarts Legacy every time we want to play Quidditch. We can just go straight to Quidditch.
Exactly. I'm excited for a lot of things, but what do you think, Shinobi? Before we move on,
I have hopes that they will update it. I mean, the Hogwarts Legacy when was that released? Probably
February of 2023.
23, about a year ago. I mean, I feel like they just did a recent update, but it wasn't that big to begin with. But still, like it showed to me that they're still willing to add at least some content to the game. And even in the announcement for Quidditch, they are even integrating some of that Hogwarts Legacy stuff into Quidditch Champions too. So I don't know. I feel like they're gonna make an effort to constantly update the game if they have to, at least for balancing issues. I feel, but that's my hope, at least, is that they'll keep updating it.
the Hogwarts Legacy, as now we're talking about it, I thought it was very, very cool, and I was impressed that they added that if you had that game, you had unlocked stuff already. The Sebastian skin, the broom, and that was a big win that I saw. That was a huge win in my eyes. What do you guys think about that? What do you think, Flyrish? Start with you.
I'm excited for Sebastian. I'm Team Slytherin. You know, Sebastian was my boy. I did not rat him out. You know, so he didn't get rat out. He's here for Quidditch. You know what? I did not use any. You know, if I was in the play test and there was character skins, I wouldn't have used them. But this is a skin I would use, a pre-made one.
What about you, Shinobi?
I mean, it would be cool, like, if you could just bring in all your stuff. That'd be awesome. But I don't know if that's realistic. You know, there's also, I wanted to circle around back the other thing, but about how people wanted QC to be in Hogwarts Legacy, and the fact that maybe some of them thought, hey, like, there's not going to be enough content for this game to be a standalone. I think them going the $30 range too kind of contributes to that. I think they know that there's only so much that they can add into a standalone Quidditch game. So, but to keep it going so that it doesn't die, I think they have to add in some stuff. I feel like they have to add in content, and so connecting back to that thing you mentioned, maybe it'd be cool if they were able to add in all your Hogwarts Legacy stuff that you unlocked in the game. I don't know. It'd be cool. I mean, it'd be something to add on to QC and to keep the game going. You know, because again, there's only so much that they can do to the game.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I would assume, you know, I played Rocket League a little bit. It wasn't my game, but I had assumed it would not be around for that long. I mean, it seems like, how do you add content to that game? You add vehicles and other things, and it's still around. It's still popular. I think Quidditch has a lot more customized things that they could add. So I'm not too worried, as long as they continually keep adding to that. I mean, do you really think there's not too much in Quidditch that they can keep it going? Like skins, Quidditch balls, the quaffles, maybe even the bludgers. I think they have a lot to work with. But really, they have to be creative on the Battle Pass. What do you think, Flyrish?
I mean, they could add new modes, you know? I think like if you had a mode where you were on the Quidditch field and maybe there were just like moving platforms that could get in your way, um, it wouldn't be a competitive mode, just an unranked fun, so that for those roles that are moving up and down the field so much that they can't just straight shot one way or whatnot. Maybe they have this big square platform just moving left and right at midfield, and so now they have to work their way around that. Maybe that could add some fun moments to the game. But once you get past the campaign, I don't know how much you add that actually keeps the gameplay loop fun.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I know who are going to buy the game, and they're not even touching campaign. And I was like, really? I might try when when people I know that are not going to be playing, like I have friends that are going to buy the game, and if they're not online, I would want to try the campaign. But there are some that are just not interested in it. They're getting it for the online feature. So I thought that was really interesting. Are you guys going to try out campaign, or it's just like a thing you're not really interested in? You just want to play with your friends?
I want to try it, I mean, I'm probably in the same boat as you when it's just one of those days where everyone's just a bit more busy than usual.
Right.
We'll boot up the campaign and see what it does. I hope they really put, some juice in it. I know with like, especially NBA, I feel like they could approach the campaign mode kind of like NBA, where you got to build up your stats and you gotta solidify your place on the team and do all these number of things. I think that would be really cool. Just to make it more than just, okay, we're going to go into the next game and then take on these bots, and then we're going to go into the next game and take on these bots, and then we're going to go to the next game and take on these bots until we've done enough games. Now, voila, here's the trophy. You won every game because, that's just how it works. I hope they bring some real difficulty and some real aspects of it, and I hope those aspects stay out of competitive.
Yes, and I think you're referring to the skill tree that I've been looking in the description, correct?
From my understanding, they're not very clear of how the skill tree is going to work, but I think 90% would agree with me that would be a bit of a game killer if they put it in comp. My opinion.
Yes. Shinobi, thoughts?
Oh yeah, it'll be unbalanced. It'll be no. I don't think it'll be what people want, but it could be a game mode. It could be like a game mode.
It could
side game mode that just keeps things interesting for other players. Maybe. I definitely want to play the career mode to get my money's worth, my $30 worth. I've heard people compare the dollar price to how many hours you should play the game to get the most out of the game. I think what I've heard is like for every like dollar that you pay for a game, you should probably spend like an hour on it. That's what I've heard at least. So I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing more than 30 hours on this, because I'm one of those people that will be playing just PvP, so that'll be me, and get friends together to play without any extra crazy modes. I mean, I would love to try those other modes as well. I would like to see some more stuff coming out, because again, I just want to see more content and just kind of have this game keep going.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting 30 hours in on the first day.
That's it?
Nobody yeah. You right, those are the rookie numbers. Gotta fit more, it's 60.
But yeah, the campaign looks good. I'm gonna try it. I'm like Flyrish. I really want to try it with my friends or offline, and maybe there's a strangler from one of your friends that's still online. Hey, do you want to jump in? Because you can still do multiplayer in the career mode. Apparently, you don't have to do it by yourself. Up to 3, yes, that is good. I'm expecting some mini cutscenes, and like Flyrish said, are you gonna do it and then that's it? I really hope they have fun with it and make multiple endings or something for replayability, or maybe you play in a different house and there's different characters.
House, yeah.
maybe you don't play
Different
with
houses
Ginny.
have different routes.
You play with Malfoy, and I don't know. They gotta make it so that career mode isn't just a 2-hour one and done. I think it's gotta have replayability. Maybe my expectations are too high for that. I don't know.
I just need in the campaign, if I'm choosing, well, not if I am choosing house, but I would need, each game against Gryffindor, Draco walk in for the pre-speech and like, okay, we have to heat.
Oh yeah.
I need that. Warner Brothers, make it happen.
So I want to see that now too. That'll be fun. I think it'd be cool if you could unlock characters in career mode, give you a reason to play. Because there's a lot of characters that you only meet in the movies when they play Quidditch, and that's it. Can't remember the guy's name in Gryffindor, the keeper that gets along with Harry. You don't really see him too much after the whole Quidditch thing. It's kind of in the background.
Yeah, isn't he? What was it he showed in the trailer? Am I thinking of the same character? He starts with B, right? I'm sorry, Harry Potter stands. Don't come at me. I'm sorry.
I'm guilty as well. I should have stayed
got my
silent.
address already.
But yes, I'm sure he'll come in at some point. But I think it'd be cool for some career mode characters. I was surprised by how many stages they released, because then they could show the potential where career mode could go. Obviously, the World Cup. That's where it's got to go. Otherwise, I'm assuming.
So you know what? I need a game mode, like prison backyard Quidditch with like street rules, and we gotta do it in Azkaban. Mm-hmm. That's the mode. That'll keep the game.
Azkaban Quidditch stage. That would be very cool. The prison, which actually I never talked about this, but I like when in the movies when the crowd chants. So that'd be cool if each stadium has their own like crowd sound effect and such, not just the general sound effect. So when you're doing well, they have a cheer or something. Be cool.
Each Quidditch team is from a different cell block. So you have like cell block A, cell block B. So you have like the crowd chanting, "Go cell block A, go cell block A."
Yeah, we need the content. That's something. They should add that. This question right here.
Pay the Dementors off.
Oh yeah. You told me about this one actually. Do you have to be a Harry Potter fan to enjoy the game?
No.
I think that needs to be stressed. This is a sports game at the end of the day. I think you have to be relatively some sort of sports fan. But I think the game is going to thrive because it's Harry Potter. But if someone just made this, like if Harry Potter never existed and Quidditch was never existed, and someone just made this, game with a bunch of broomsticks and the sport on it and just released it as a solo game, I think it would be just as fun and playable with whatever cosmetics that they put on it. And I think the gameplay is incredibly fun from what I can tell. So no, I encourage everyone that just likes sports games to try.
I can agree with that. What about you, Shinobi? I heard you immediately say no, so I want to hear your thoughts on that.
No, I mean, I know there's going to be friends that probably have never seen the movies at all, or even read the books, and I haven't read the books. I've seen the movies, but I'm still... I would say I would consider myself more on the Harry Potter fan side. So, but I still have... Like, I know I'm going to have friends who are going to be interested, and I'm talking about, like, the Rocket League players who will definitely find a liking to the game. I don't think all of them are going to be, like, Harry Potter fans, but they will get a kick out of it. I think they're going to want to see some competitive side out of this, too.
Definitely. I say that you don't have to be a fan to enjoy it. From the trailer, like Flyrish mentioned, it does look very appealing. That's how it's going to look. There's like a moment where basically someone hits a bludger and you have like first person view, but I don't think it'll be first person view, but that looked really interesting. I remember there was a game called I know it's completely kind of like related. It's a game called Hot Shots Golf. Not sure if you guys ever heard of that. PS2 days.
Okay.
And I played that game because it looked fun, funky, and the characters looked kind of crazy. And I didn't know anything about golf. I didn't watch golf, but I tried it, and it was way exaggerated, which made it fun. And then it kind of made me enjoy the game. And then I enjoyed it, and then I could watch real golf and then understand it. So I think you don't have to, as long as the game is fun, then you'll have a lot of people saying, oh, I like the Quidditch. I'm going to go watch the movies. I'm going to go read the books. And they could become a Harry Potter fan just from playing the game and enjoying it. So definitely I don't think you have to be a fan of Harry Potter. It helps. It definitely helps.
It does.
But it's not everything. So I'm glad we could all agree on that, because I think it'd be a loss if you just skip this game. I don't think... We haven't seen this game since the GameCube. And I actually have my own copy of the GameCube over there. Flyrish mentioned to me behind. Yes, I remember I played that last year when I was like hearing about the playtest. So there's a lot of people that didn't get into the playtest. I was going to mention that. So they're going to definitely be hopping on day one, and it's going to be very explosive the first week. I'm thinking. The second week, I don't know.
So.
I don't know after the second week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
That's the scary part, isn't it? You know, I mean, we're hoping. We would love to, again, be a part to foster the community and grow it and keep it competitive. I mean, I think one thing that I would like to stress to a lot of people that might be thinking of it, lore accurate, all the different positions, you know, play differently. You know, they all have their own game within the game. You know, I kind of mentioned basketball earlier with the campaign, but if you think about Quidditch in general, it is kind of a mix between basketball and football, right? Because basketball, you have 5 players and you know, they're all coordinating and doing their thing. But football has different positions, and each position does something different, right? And you could have fun in multiple different positions. So I think, you know, lore accurate based on the books and the movies with Quidditch, that each position plays very differently. There's something for everyone. There may be multiple things for some people, you know, to take the time to master, get good at, and just go out there, have fun, whether you like Harry Potter or not.
Definitely, I think you could actually, if you look in the descriptions on Steam and PlayStation Network, they do talk a little bit about those positions. Not exactly how they play, but they do mention chasers, seekers, beaters, and keepers. I might have to check again, but those are the 4 I remember that it did say. So that's good that we have some idea on there'll be positions. So how, like you said, like in any sport, each position is vital. So that's going to be, I feel like there's going to be a lot of balancing, especially after the first week, because this isn't like a lot of games that have been out for a while. Quidditch is going to be its own type of game, so it won't be perfect in the beginning. So I'm expecting a lot of things to come out that they will have to patch or might be overpowered. But I think that's a good start. If they address it really quick, it could be okay. But if they let it drag on for way too long, that could be a problem, like long term. Because I remember in Overwatch, they had not updated the game for a really long time, and people were complaining about this and that. But as long as you keep updating it, you know, based on the positions, there could be a season where the chasers are dominant. Then another season, they upgrade the seekers, and they'll be more dominant. It's going to be very hard to equally balance every position. That's going to be very hard.
I mean, but it at least gives some sort of meta changes sometimes as they keep balancing. Things are kind of new, you know. Yep. It's actually funny right now in like Valorant. I know the agent ISO is kind of extremely overpowered. They're gonna nerf him soon, but a lot of people are saying Valorant's kind of boring right now because everyone feels too balanced, you know. So maybe having just some offset problems going on here and there won't be the worst thing, you know, as long as they keep it changing.
Yes,
they're so used to games being unbalanced that they actually miss it.
I think there's
that is true.
True.
You know what? As much flex as I've given Warner Brothers for how they're handling the promotion and marketing of this game, at least they're not EA. At least the game should be finished. Mostly when it comes out, no microtransactions. Hey, some positives.
Yes. Some positives. If they does return, there are some people that if you don't want to if you don't have to pay for microtransactions, you don't have to. But it's there as an option. But is there anything you wanted to add about the stores or anything on launch, Shinobi? So I know that we're judging behind like talking about a lot of topics. It seemed like you had maybe something you wanted to bring up.
I mean, I'll add in that some of the stuff we're talking about could probably be answered if there was more information from WB coming out. I would love more content. Not only do I really want to play the game, but I think as somebody who's coming in brand new, just trying to find out more information about this game, I don't think there's enough to go to fully give them an overview of what this game is about. Like currently as it stands on the store, PlayStation Store, Steam Store, there's just not enough information. So, and I don't even think they have the actual. There's a trailer link, but it's not even in the featured pictures where usually you can have a video in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, if somebody who's just kind of quickly browsing through, they might not even see the announcement post and click on it to actually go see the trailer reveal. So just little things like that. I like to pay attention to little details and just see like what they could do better. I mean, and I only do it because I want to see the game succeed. So
I get you.
More content, please, from WB, and just make the game more like make people more excited to want to play it, because again, it's only like less than 2 months out. So
I remember looking at the Steam store and the PlayStation store. They had already confirmed characters. Flyrish, you being a Slytherin guy. They did add Malfoy. So Malfoy confirmed. He is in the game as a skin.
I'm not a huge Draco Malfoy fan, to be honest. But my boy Sebastian, he coming through. Alright, I'm repping Sebastian.
Okay. No, Shinobi, you're talking about character creation, so I'm assuming you'll be character creation character.
Yeah, definitely gonna go with custom character. I love some pre-made ones too. Like if maybe Ron. I'll probably go with the usual with the Ron, but I'm probably gonna be making my own.
I've seen amongst the internet that there is one character that is extremely highly requested, which is apparently the PlayStation 1 Hagrid skin. It seems like many people are very, very wanting of that one for whatever reason. I don't know.
I am aware in multiple Quidditch Discords that is a highly request. I don't know the origins of this, but
I don't either.
Why not? That's my opinion. Why not?
At least be lurking around somewhere. Just anywhere.
It's possible. It's doable.
I'm sure that it's one of the few requests that the developers are very aware of, as it's constantly being brought up. Hey, it's a community request. I think if they do that, it's a win. But
exactly, and you know what? They probably need to do that at this point. They need sub dub. They need sub dub on their side right now.
Absolutely.
But if you don't mind, Blue, to the interviewer himself, I have a question for you.
Go ahead and shoot.
Will be for Shinobi as well, but we'll start with our main man, Blue, here. Should there be a difference between ranked and unranked, or should there just be online play? And just everyone gets put in the MMR that they are currently in?
I think that's a good question, because in Overwatch, I was pretty competitive in that game in the very beginning of the cycle, and it was very frustrating. And when you play, when you try to improve on whatever role you are, and you go to competitive, you get used to the level of competitiveness, and that there's just fewer mistakes to have to be made the higher you climb. And then when you go to quick match, I mean, they try to match you up with a certain, like if you're playing with someone else, they have the same certain amount of hours, that they're not going to essentially be the same skill. So you could always be on a team where from just joining the game, you're not going to win because your teammate's not. And then there'll be some where you just steamroll. So I think it's one of those things that you just have to play for fun. And I think it'll be... I think if you're not trying to completely win, if you're not trying to completely win quick match, it could be enjoyable. But it'll be very unbalanced skill-wise, I think. So I think if you like being very competitive, you should only stay in competitive mode. But it is nice to go on quick match and just try out stuff and just relax, or even try out a different position, like in Overwatch, just multiple positions. So
that is fair. But I do, but I kind of asked this because now knowing that Quidditch Champions will have a single player mode, you know, there's not as much stake in getting in that and testing things out. Whereas where I think this game will matter a lot on mechanics, you know, if your quick play MMR and your comp MMR are different, your comp rank and your quick play MMR, let's say that you played some ranked and then you stopped playing ranked for a little bit, you played a whole bunch of quick play, you heavily drastically improved, you tested things of the campaign, then you come back to comp, now all of a sudden you're just way much better than all the competition that you're already in there. You're already at a skill imbalance. Whereas maybe if it's just one online mode, it's just your MMR and your rank are all synced. I mean, technically you could get better in the campaign as well still, but I don't think it would be as much of a gap going against those bots than constantly practicing in QP. And then we could considerably, hopefully, get rid of Smurfs if Smurfs are a thing in this game.
That's always going to be a thing, I think.
That's true.
And one thing I wanted to talk about that you mentioned earlier is the whole skill tree. Should that be implemented somewhere? And I think it should be. You know, you have your quick match, your competitive, and then you could have something else, be a tree mode, or I don't know, something else where the skill tree is in there and you can be competitive in that. So you can be quick match, competitive, and then you could put that in there if you really wanted
That's
to.
fair point. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I hope I answered that question. But
you did. You could.
All right. What about you, Shinobi?
Well, I don't think we even know if there's going to be an ranked mode, competitive mode. I mean, none of this is really answered, right? Like we see career
exactly,
mode.
Yeah. So we're just debating what we think
matches.
It should be.
Yeah.
We see player versus player. But skill, are you talking about the skill tree? Yeah, no, that should not definitely be in not in competitive mode. So that should be something like in career mode or some other creative mode that they're just messing around with, you know.
The other thing too is I didn't play multiverses, but I'm pretty sure Shinobi at least is so he could answer this. Like ranked was a locked mode for a while, right? or it hasn't even become unlocked yet.
No, it has not.
It's not so. So you don't even have ranked in multiverses yet.
No, it just seems like
we might be cooked, boys.
If something's not finished, they'll just keep it locked.
Maybe
I want ranked day one. I want to get in day one.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. I do want to say I am in that small pool of players that was in the beta for multiverses that they did. It's no rumor, it existed. There was a ranked mode tested, but it has not returned for a really long time. And I was telling Shinobi they've had over a year to get this handled. And I mean, you tested it a year before. You had players' feedback. I think it was well done. It was very simple. You win, you get points. You go to the next rank, and you lose your points. You go below. There was some games that they want to make the players happy that once you achieve a rank, you can't go any lower than that. Multiverses, like you lose, you keep going down. I think that was good. And yeah, we're still waiting for rank. Maybe at the pace that Multiverses is going, it might not even come out. Because I would even argue that it might possibly be pretty dead right now. Unfortunately.
Yeah, how long has Multiverses been out? At least a month, yeah?
It's probably been a month.
Yeah.
So, like, how long do people need to get acclimated before they feel comfortable to get into rank? I feel like at maximum 2 weeks. If even that. I feel like a week.
That's true. I host a lot of, like, before Quidditch came out, I hosted a lot of, like, video game tournaments just for my channel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I invited were, like, high in the leaderboard because I wanted to bring competitive gameplay. And none of them are playing Multiverses right now. They said it's too slow and it's changed too much. So
I do agree it's too slow. I'm a Smash Brothers player. Melee and Smash 4, so I Multiverse is a little too floaty for me. But the only reason why I bring it up, and we've kind of mentioned it before for the audience, but that Warner Brothers is, even though the sub studio that is making Quidditch is not the same as the one that made Multiverses, or the same that made Justice League, or Suicide Squad. Sorry. So there's some hope in that. At the same time, I don't blame. Well, you can see it on the website, so it's not bad to say. Unbroken Studios. I don't blame Unbroken Studios for even if that was to happen, because it's seemingly out of their control. It's seemingly like Warner Brothers is contracting them to make the game, yet Warner Brothers is still making some of these decisions based on what we can look at from the other previous Warner Brother games that have just recently came out. So at the end of the day, I mean, hopefully they see some of the mistakes they made and let Quidditch at least cap off their year to be a good year. Because realistically, when you think about the number of titles Warner Brothers is dropping is just this year, and the IPs and the franchises that are involved in that, they should be having a great year, and everyone should be talking about how excited we are about Quidditch because of how good the other two games were. But the handle has been so bad that I don't know. We're now hoping that Quidditch just gives it what it needs.
You keep mentioning how the game is handled. That it seems like you're not very happy with how Quidditch Champions is being handled.
No.
How do you mean handled? Can you describe how they should be handling it? More trailers, more no NDAs. I mean, what are your?
I think, and it's not even necessarily just even allowing me to play the game early, although that would be great. It's more of, like I said, when you look at the YouTube comments, there are more dislikes than likes on the YouTube trailer, on both the official release and on the PlayStation version of the video, the PlayStation release version of it. Both those videos have more dislikes than likes. And people were, again, commenting about how bad the graphics look, or the lack of content that they're seeing or understanding of it. And it's like, okay, I get that. Like, sure, the graphics may look Fortnite-y. I'm just going to be real with you. If you had the Hogwarts Legacy graphics, A, a lot less people are going to be able to play it because it's going to require some powerful, beefy PCs to do that. And B, the clarity is just not going to be there. Like, with these kind of bold, cartoony graphics, I could only speak of experience from other games, that have the same style. But the clarity of such a fast-paced game, with where the screen is constantly moving, it's going to be so much easier to understand and to comprehend what's happening on your screen at a single moment at the type of graphics it would be. And people would see that if they could see it. But
Right.
In the meantime, in this world where it's console wars, who's got the better graphics, who got the beefier PC, got this, they're looking at this game and they're like, well, this game just doesn't look like a modern game, so it must be bad. But no, that's not the case at all. I think they made the right choice, but their marketing of their choice is not the right way to show that. I think there's a couple other examples again that I could really delve into, but again, these are all things that if you just even if not us, just go find a big content creator, 2 or 3, and just say, hey, here you go. Promote the game for half a month, do drops, do whatever. I think people that really want to know about this game will be able to see it and then say they want to put their dollars, because that's the problem with the 30. That's the only problem right now with a $30 price tag, is that people are unsure. People are unsure if they want to buy into it or not, because they don't know. It's hard to sell. It's hard to make people pay money for something they don't know about. You know, that's where I'm super scared of. They're gonna have to wait for us that really want to play it, and those big content creators like Blue said earlier in the episode that, you know, are gonna obviously play it week 1. They're gonna wait until they see them play it before they make that decision. But you could just skip that step and let us play it a week and a half early, and we're having the same conclusion. Now your day one sales, I guarantee you your day one sales would be better. And a lot of questions will be answered. I think it would rest a lot of people's mind about states of the game. I think it would.
Your thoughts, Shinobi? I can see a lot of what Flyrish is coming from there. Do you like how it's getting handled right now? There's only 2 months.
Right. I mean, I could totally understand why they don't want to like lift the NDA right now. Maybe, or even like 2 months ago, right? Why wouldn't they want to lift the NDA and let players just showcase the game, let them show it off, let other people watch them stream it, right? And the only thing I can think of is just they're still working on the game. But 2 months away from release, there's no what could you possibly add in 2 months, you know, other than just minor bugs and fixes. Unless the game development studio, and I don't want to like jump to conclusions, but unless they're behind on schedule or something, I don't see that happening. Like I just doesn't make any sense to me. So I agree. Like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before release, go ahead and lift NDA, let people show off the game, because at the end of the day, like Flyrish mentioned, people are gonna want to look at what the game looks like before they buy. A lot of people do this. I do this as well, and I just want to know what I'm getting into. So I look at reviews, I look at gameplay videos on YouTube, and that's what people are going to be looking for. So
I even think to add to that, like, a couple things is what's so secretive about Quidditch? You know, like, it's in the movies. We know what it is, you know? Like, what are we so secretive about? There's not a lot of difference between the movie and the game. There's just not. And the other thing, too, to think about, like, to Shinobi's point of that they may not be ready. I mean, the difference between the last final playtest to win the game coming out is nearly a year. And then they just come out of nowhere and announce a release date. If they're not ready and they have not done anything in the in-between time to like showcase or try anything, we're cooked. They have to be ready. They have to feel certain about this, right? For the amount of gap in between any last official word from any standpoint, to then just come out and be like, release date, here you go. You know, like it's so hard to think they're not ready, right?
I don't want to like say that they didn't have enough time, because a year, sure, but you know, you still have to consider holidays, and I don't know how many holidays were there between that last playtest and now, right? There was probably 3 major holidays. So, assuming that the majority of the development company took the time off, which I seriously doubt, everyone decided to just close doors for 3 months straight, you know. Let's just assume they only had 7 months, right? They could still do a lot of changes in that time. But again,
they're untested changes. They are untested changes.
Untested. Not really sure what they could be adding at this point. other than just maybe focusing on cleaning up career mode. And again, that's pretty much all we see in the trailer is career mode. Like it just feels like maybe they were focusing on we gotta justify this being a $30 game. So besides PvP, we need to add in more to make the player feel like they're getting their money's worth. I think that's what they've been focusing on, sadly, the last 7 months. And obviously cleaning up whatever was left over from the playtest. But that's it.
If I may, I mean, again, the skill tree. That's. I mean, if let's
Skill
theoretically
tree.
say the skill tree is going to be in comp, that's a big unknown. That's a big unknown. And people that care about competitive integrity, I'm one of those. This is a competitive game. At the end of the day, it's like.
Yeah.
I can say this. I did ask Popsicle in the Discord. As soon as he messaged, I had like a hawk. I went in there really quick, and I was like, "Hey, is skill tree in career mode or is it in competitive?" And he said he can't say. So I didn't like that answer. I would have liked if he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's career mode. We want to keep the, like Flyrish said, the competitive integrity. Don't worry about it." But nope, he didn't say that either. So.
But I guarantee you though, and shout out to Pops because I think Pops is actually a pretty cool person. That's
He
not
is.
Pops' decision to say he can't say. I think he probably shares a lot of the same sentiments that we're sharing. But WB's got the they got the handcuffs on them.
The more you guys talk about how the game is being handled, it kind of gets me a little skeptical and how they will perform. And I try to stay positive, but there's only 2 months left, and it's been a while since the reveal trailer. I mean, honestly, they should have kept the ball rolling. People are excited. Like Flyers was saying, have people show, even show developers playing, show gameplay footage, show what we're buying. Like Shinobi said, we don't know what we're buying. If you were one of those people on the play tests, which is most people, and because not a lot of people got in, and so you want people to see what it looks like so they can buy it. And I'm assuming, Harry Potter's pretty popular. It's been around for a long time. A lot of players, I'm assuming in the beginning, will be, young adults to adults, maybe the older crowd. And you need to see this game, because I remember being a kid that, $30 is a lot of money. $30 is a lot of money, and you don't want to put that money that you've been saving up, or you're working at part-time, or just for something you don't know what it looks like. So they definitely need to get on that. They need to show trailers of the positions they mentioned, because the chaser gameplay that they were showing in the trailer, the keeper was pretty non-existent in the reveal trailer, which was a little disappointing, but he's there. And so we need to see this stuff. And we were talking about other games, and like Flyrish mentioned, at least get somebody who has a large following to promote the game. So remember they did that for that dodgeball game that we were talking about earlier.
Knockout City.
They did that with 5 influencers, and if you were watching, they were doing drops. Like, put this code in the game and you get their logo on your character if you were a fan, and that generated hype. And I think they were on the right direction, but they just did not deliver on the content. I think right now they have so much possibility for content. They just need to get people excited and start working with influencers, or they need to do something. They just can't do nothing and then launch happens. Let's pretend it's next week and they haven't done anything. I'm pretty worried for the game, honestly.
Well,
that's what I think.
I am too, on the sense of what the public will perceive it. So then my closing sentiment is it's worth it. Fingers crossed.
Any final words, Shinobi? Flyrish says it's an A. It's a must-have. What do you think?
Definitely try out the game. I think it'll be a fun game regardless of all the suspicions we have, but it'll be released soon. and it'll be a fun game regardless. So
Yes, I'm very excited. I like hearing all the perspectives you guys were talking about. I wouldn't really have thought about that. They need to be managing the content more on getting people excited, show what the game actually looks like. So, the reveal trailer is a start, but yeah, like Flyrish mentioned, they need to start doing things, and it might even call for another playtest without NDA to really get people excited at this point, because they have so much they have to do within these 2 weeks. Why don't you just let the players do it? Why don't you let the players promote it? That's the best way of promotion, I think.
So Pop, just do it. Just drop it. Listen, we're sorry for what Warner Brothers may do to you, but it's for the greater Pops, just drop. Listen, come play with us, Pops. We'll be your friends. Warner Brothers not your friends. Come be our friends, Pop. Just take the game code and drop it.
Wanted to add that Popsicles has been pretty cool answering questions and what he can answer. So he does respond to a lot of people. I know some people don't even respond at all. That's pretty cool that he gives us answers that he can.
Yeah.
But I wanted to thank you, Flyrish, for joining. It was really awesome having you. Getting a lot of your intake.
My pleasure.
And I'm going to put a link in your description because he streams on Twitch very often. And I'm expecting Shinobi.
Chaos with me.
Awesome. And you, Shinobi, I'm pretty sure you're going to be streaming from what we've talked about, or maybe upload. We'll see.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see.
Okay. I think we'll end up there. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. Hope I can see you guys again. And hopefully the next time, if we do talk, that there is more trailers to talk about, which would be great.
Don't count on them, but we can hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Awesome. Peace out, guys.
Man, everyone's so nice on this game, and I'm just like an absolute dickhead. Pretending to be like a decent guy.
Blue Y! Blue Y! Alright, Blue, you need to make a Swifty shirt that is just a potato.
Yes. Alright, baby.
Alright, see you there.